NPR polled the internet with the intent of determining our favorite young adult novels of all time. Each person who voted was allowed 10 votes, and over 75,000 people participated, which I thought was really cool. Harry Potter and the Hunger Games came in at number 1 and number 2, and I can't help but wonder, though, because they are in the media so much, if that's why they ranked so high. Although what I will say is The Fault in Our Stars, a relatively new release, clocked in at number 4. Now, don't hear me say that I dislike any of these books, or that I have a thing against nerd fighters, because, well, clearly I am a nerd fighter. And I read Harry Potter at least twice a year, and listen to the audio of The Hunger Games frequently. I've also purchased 8 copies of The Fault in Our Stars to date. I was happy to see a number of canonical novels appear on the list. To Kill a Mockingbird was number 3, The Hobbit was number 5, Catcher in the Rye came in at number 6, Lord of the Rings number 7, and Fahrenheit 451 number 8. While I don't know if I'd call some of these YA fiction, they're books that adolescents read either in school or because they're members of the Nerd Fighter book club. And since I am first and foremost a nerd fighter, I want to mention that all 4 of John Green's solo novels are in the top 25. The Fault in Our Stars was number 4, Looking for Alaska was number 9, Paper Towns was number 20, and An Abundance of Catherines was number 22. Will Grayson, written with David Levithan, ranked number 34. Today is one of those good days to be a nerd fighter. Now, I don't want to go through the entire list for you, so I'm going to put a link in the description where you can view all of the novels that were voted into the top 100. I am going to talk about my fave 5 outside of Nerd Fighteria and Harry Potter, because it's not fair at this point to figure those into my list of favorites. Oh, and if you didn't catch that, that was an homage to Felicia Day. My number 1 is The Giver series by Lois Lowry. Only the first 3 though. I remember reading Gathering Blue first, then going back and reading The Giver, and wondering what became of the characters at the ends of their stories, because I was so invested in these dystopian worlds. The 4th book in the series, Sun, is due on October 2nd, and I'm really excited about that. Number 2, The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie. I can't tell you how many times I've had to read this novel for any of my young adult literature classes, but what I will tell you is that as funny as it is to read, it's even funnier to listen to Alexie read it himself. There are nuances to the story I didn't pick up on as a reader that had me rolling as I listened to it. Number 3, the Graceling series by Kirsten Cashore, which I recommend to anyone who wants to read a series of novels with kick-ass female protagonists. And some fantasy. I'll admit that I put off reading Fire, the 2nd book in the series, because I didn't want to read about any character that wasn't Katza, because I fell in love with Katza in Graceling. But I'll admit that I made a mistake there. Graceling, Fire, and Bitter Blue are fantastic and complex novels with fantastic and complex characters. Number 4, Unwind by Neal Shusterman. Tackling a tough issue in a smart way that is definite cause for conversation. I had some of the best conversations about this novel in a YA class last year. It'll make you think critically about issues surrounding abortion and medical ethics. The sequel to this one, Unholy, is due out August 28th. If you haven't read Unwind, you should add it to the top of your TBR pile. And the Chaos Walking series by Patrick Ness, which I've talked about in a different video. It's another one of those worlds where I got sucked in and it wouldn't let me go. It's a series that I think was an interesting look at colonization and what people will do for power. So that's my fave 5. What's your fave 5 from NPR's top 100 young adult novels? Take a look at the list from the link in the description and leave me a comment or a video response with your 5 favorite novels from this list. Happy reading, and don't forget to be awesome.